This is a Glassbox Media podcast.
Much.
Oh my God, everybody's supportive of you this week, Christina. All the nice things, and you're doing strong. You're 7 days in?
Day 7.
Nice.
Yep. Yeah. I mean, it's I will say, like, I did start reading This Naked Mind, which is pretty fucking incredible book. So thank you guys for all the recommendations to read that book. It's been helpful. I'm about 3 chapters in right now. The thing that was kind of sucked is, like, I think I was ridiculously thinking that I would magically feel incredibly better immediately.
Radiant and
yeah,
glowing.
exactly. And I'm like, I still feel exactly the same. So, but
Yeah, but it's been 7 days.
it's been 7
It's
days.
not been like 2 weeks in or
Yeah.
anything like
Yeah,
that.
yeah, yeah.
You know?
So, yeah, I'm going to keep going and, like, just see. I think for me, I want to do 30 days just for myself, to prove something to myself, and then we'll go from there.
It's
But-
like a good hard reset too.
Yeah.
It's just like
Yeah.
let your body
Like you-
recalibrate. You
Like
know?
you said, unplug and plug back in.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. So,
what you got?
did you guys hear that Ben Affleck is trying to date again?
I did. I heard he was going to go back on Raya.
He was on Raya. He's off of it.
Oh, he is.
Like, he's off the apps. I guess he, like, did an interview and he was like, no shade to anybody who's on the apps, which immediately makes me think, like, definite
All the
shade
shade.
Oh,
to
I
people.
know.
Like, you didn't need
no
to say
offense. All the
that. No offense, but full offense.
Yeah.
And so he was saying that, like, he's just like, I'm just not on them right now, but I'm still, like, looking for love or whatever. So he took himself off of Raya, but he was on Raya.
Yeah.
And
I
I'm
also
just-
heard in that interview, he said, like, him ruining his marriage was, like, one of his biggest regrets.
I bet, because look at Jennifer Garner.
Okay.
That bitch, beautiful.
Right.
Beautiful. And she, even when they weren't together, like, that's a quality person that
Yeah.
she drove him to rehab.
Yeah.
She's like, this is still the father of my kids. I'm going to do everything I can for you. I just can't be married to you. And I'm just like, God, you fucking ruined something great.
Oh, absolutely.
And I think he knows that.
He knows that.
Yeah.
But the fact that he's coming to a place where he can admit that he has faults and that says a lot about him, I think. I think because I think there's a lot of guys out there who are just blindly like, I have no regrets. You know what I mean? Just
I
do
think
what
we
I want.
all
Do
know.
we know anyone
We
like
know.
that?
I feel like I know someone
feel like
like
it.
that.
Oh my God. Ian and I watched
You
this
can't
doc.
listen. First,
It sounds
first
like you're
and
saying
foremost,
Ian when you say
Oh.
that.
Also, it makes me think of Emerson when you say E.
Yeah, that's
So
true.
every time you put E, I'm like, Emerson, why are you with Emerson? Yeah.
Eric and I last night watched the documentary of David Crosby. Speaking of people, oh my God.
I want to watch it.
It is so good. You talk about somebody who literally treated everybody in their life, literally everybody, like shit. And everyone hates him. Nobody talks to him anymore
He
at
looks
all.
like a goddamn turtle.
He does look like a turtle.
A turtle with
He
a mustache.
He took that. He rode that star.
Yeah.
He rode that star all the way as far as he fucking could. There's a part of me, because I'm a huge Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young fan.
Oh, me
Huge.
too.
And I saw them in concert, the whole 9. There's a part of me that, like, has love for that musician, but also is like,
Well, yeah.
yeah,
I mean,
you're
that,
kind of.
Well, it seems like he's coming to self-realization now, which it's like, well, better late than never.
Sure.
how
But
the fuck old is he?
he's like in his late 70s, early
Okay.
80s. Yeah, better late than never.
I'm
but
in such a burn it all fucking down mood. I really am. Where I'm just like, yeah, okay, better late than never. But also, there's this thing that happens when people get old, where they like know they're getting old and they feel like they need to like reflect on their shit. And I'm like, no, you could have just been a better person for the last 60 years.
yeah.
Girl.
Instead of like deciding now that you're gonna die in like 5 years. You know, it's annoying to me.
What's
like
that?
It honestly is.
You know what? Who I want to have a moment like this is that woman who probably fucking killed her kids in Idaho.
Oh,
I need you to
my
fucking come
God.
together and
Dude,
tell us where those fucking kids are.
Those kids are dead.
Of course they are.
And she's not. I don't know. I think something would have to change for her to actually admit what happened to them, because she's left Earth.
Oh yeah.
Like she does not, she's not. That's the thing that scares me about this situation, is that when you're living in this like mindset where the world is ending and you have a deeper understanding about like spirituality and God and heaven and afterlife and all of this shit, like you don't have the same motivations as like a normal person.
Oh.
Like your desire to tell the truth is zero.
And I'm sorry, but like there is coincidence, and then there's also like, okay, so your husband died, shot by your brother who also died,
right?
And then his wife died.
Yeah, your new kids are missing. Your new husband's
and you're
wife
in
died.
Hawaii.
You got married to your new husband a week after his wife died.
Yeah.
Right.
Your kids are missing. You lied about them being missing.
Right.
And she did finally get arrested, because I listened to that
God.
Dateline.
Oh, girl.
And I was like, I was like, God, I can't believe you. Can you not arrest somebody for like not showing up to their court mandated like?
And that's what they did.
But they took forever.
I think they wanted to line up as many charges as they possibly could, which was
But
the fact that they're like basically like child endangerment. There was a lot
Like
of things that they could
or something?
neglect. I think,
But
is
you
what
can
it
hold
was.
someone in custody on a charge. They do that all the time. Like you should have arrested her on that charge.
Yeah.
Held her while you collected the rest of your shit. Because
but now she's got a $5 million bond, which is way bigger than it could have been. Maybe she could have been bonded out. And
I don't know, man. I don't know. I feel like they took a risk. I know they had people watching her all the time, but like you took a risk.
They were on her,
and especially since like this is obviously someone who has a different relationship with death than we do. Like I would have been afraid that her and Dude Face would have fucking like
killed, murder, suicide. Yeah. Especially since they believe that our world's going to end in July 2020.
Yeah,
so
and
it's
that
like,
they're all going
what's
to
4 months? You know what I mean?
Apparently it's something like they have to be here to be part of it, or to be here to help out, which is why there's things, it's layers. It's very culty sounding is what it sounds like.
For sure.
Yeah.
Speaking of
culty,
girl, I just listened to that fucking David Koresh podcast the BBC did.
I love the BBC.
Holy fucking shit.
What's it called?
So good. I sent it to you guys. I can't remember the name of it.
No, I don't know.
So the podcast is called End of Days, and it was from 2018. I don't even know how I randomly found it. It looks like they dumped the entire series on October 30th of 2018, but it's really fucking good.
Sweet. I'll check it out.
It was really good. And as much as I felt like I knew about the whole David Koresh and the Waco and the Branch Davidians, I was young. I was like a young kid when this was all happening. So it's like, it was part of the background of my life at the time, but I didn't know.
What was it? 96, 97?
No way. Was it that?
It was in the 90s because it was right before the Oklahoma City bombing.
I think you're right. I think you're right. I think it was 96 now that you're saying
that.
I
don't remember exactly, but I remember that it was around that time because I watched a really great documentary. I think it might still be on Netflix. It was a PBS documentary. I think it was called Oklahoma City.
Oh, that one is so good. It's an American experience.
Good.
Mm-hmm.
It's so good.
Yeah, totally.
And
PBS. Big heart.
Oh my God. Take my money. Take all my money.
That was like the TV that we watched growing up. It was like
childhood.
all Nova, all nature.
Girl,
like,
Are You Being Served?
Oh, yes.
But yeah, that Oklahoma City documentary is so good because they talk about how like it was basically this snowball effect of like Ruby Ridge and then Waco and then like that all of that stuff made like Oklahoma City happen. It was just like it's bananas.
What a wild time, man.
Dude, that whole like militia culture is really
and it exists still.
Yes.
And it is scary.
It's wild.
Yeah. It's wild. I mean, it was in the news just a couple of years ago with that, like, all that stuff that was happening in Oregon.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that's right.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh.
But yeah, that was a good podcast, and I highly recommend it. They did it in the BBC, so they do such a good job. Did you guys go watch Cats the movie?
No.
No.
Wait,
Chris
what?
and I totally watched it.
I'm
last
sorry,
night.
you're not talking about the musical.
No.
What are you talking about?
It's called #Cats the Movie. MEWVIE.
No.
Oh my God.
I don't even know what
Literally
you're talking
never heard of
about.
it.
Wait, it's
Yeah.
on Netflix.
Oh my God.
Chris
What
and
are
I
you
watched
talking
it to go to bed
about?
the other night.
Please describe it.
Okay, it's all about like internet cats.
Oh
It's the cutest thing you've ever seen.
my
I've
God.
woken Anthony up out of sleep to
Oh my
look at
God.
cats on my phone.
Keegan, how have we not heard of
I
this
don't know.
movie?
I don't know because last night, okay, so we were at the party, which was for Earbuds, which by the way also it's a collective, which will send you like a newsletter, or they also have a podcast, so you can check that out. But it was Earbuds' birthday anniversary party, and so I got there and I beat Cassi and Madigan there, and I was sitting in the parking lot waiting, and the mangiest looking cat
Oh.
beautiful but dirty,
Yes.
so dirty. It's like long hair, black and white, kind of spotted cat. And I saw this cat. I got out of my car while my car was still running and tried to get this cat to come over to me, and it wouldn't come over to me. And so I texted Anthony, and I was just like, "You almost just got another cat. Like, I'm not even kidding you." And then later, I saw another cat, and I was like, all caps to Anthony, I was like, "It's a family of cats." And he just wrote back, "No." And I sent him back a gift that was like, "Well, I guess we'll see." And I was just like, if I can get these cats in my car, they're coming.
We get new cats.
Oh, I know. You guys, I saw that photo of where the place was, and I was like, if I saw cats there, I'd take them home too.
Yeah.
Someone was feeding them. There were like buckets of water and food, but like this cat, I'm like, that cat needs a vet. I was like, I want to get that cat into my car so I can take her to a vet.
Oh, poor baby.
Poor sweet angel. But this is my problem, man. This has always been my problem. Like, I had a baby skunk a few years ago.
Yeah.
When I was a kid, I used to take in like, I had so many pigeons,
Oh my God.
so many pigeons with broken wings.
Mm-hmm.
Like, so I just.
You
I
should have been a
love
vet.
them. No, because I could never. I don't think I could be around. Like, I wanted to volunteer at the Humane Society a few years ago,
Yeah.
but I was just
It's
like,
hard.
Yeah,
if
I
I have
couldn't.
to be around animals dying, it will destroy my soul.
I was
Totally.
only able to do it a couple of times, and I was like, no.
Or I'm going
thanks.
to end up with literally 8
All of
million
them.
cats.
Yes.
Or
Exactly.
and dogs.
And dogs. Yeah.
And take them all home.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Thank God.
We are. I'm going to show you that trailer when
Oh,
we're done.
please
Though.
do.
Yeah.
yeah.
I will watch it.
Oh my God, it's so cute.
By the way, this is my worst date.
Yeah, it is.
I'm Christina.
I'm Keegan.
I'm Cassie.
Fuck, Mary, kill this week.
God,
Okay.
We're all over the
Yeah.
place today.
Cookies. We got cookies.
Oh shit!
Girl
you
Scout
and I, You and I
cookies.
had some bomb ass
Girl,
cookies last time.
we did. And it's still, you know what? It's still Valentine's month. We can always throw.
And
what's our
it
cookie
is
challenge?
Girl Scout
Girl,
cookies season.
Girl Scout cookies.
You know what? Let's do that.
Ooh,
Let's do
Girl
that because
Scout
people have
cookies.
takes on Girl Scout
Okay.
cookies. All right.
Okay. Well, mine's.
Well, should we do
Mints.
an?
I'm a Samoa.
Okay.
Oh, I'm a trefoil.
Okay.
I'm
Trefoil?
a hot take.
Is
I'm a
that
hot
the
take.
fucking shortbread
cookie? Yes,
It's good.
Get
though.
the
It's
fuck out.
fucking delicious.
It is. It's good
They're
with
good.
coffee.
So
I
good.
love a shortbread.
Any hot beverage. I keep them at work because I don't want to have them at home. So I have them in a drawer at work, and I'll just go into the drawer and take out like 3 cookies. And if I have a coffee or even like a English breakfast tea, I will dip that bitch in there, and it is beautiful. And I keep thinking, I'm like, I really want to make like a shortbread crust with this cookie.
They're so buttery.
oh
man.
it's so good.
All right.
Thin Mints. Yours, I feel like they're the ones that everyone's.
I know. It's everybody's favorite.
Loves.
But I love it so much.
But I cannot
good.
mint chocolate. I can't.
You know
I'm
what's-
not a mint chocolate person.
I don't do mint and chocolate, but I like Thin Mints. It's weird.
Mints.
Like those like whatever those Andes mints or whatever they give you at Olive Garden. I hate those.
Yeah.
I love them.
I don't like mint chocolate ice cream. I don't like any of that shit, but I can get down on a Thin Mint.
I can't believe
right, I think I
none
know
of
what
us
to do.
said tagalongs, which are the fucking peanut butter chocolate ones.
Oh, yeah.
Tagalongs
Those are
are good, but those are never what I would choose to
Yeah.
buy.
No,
Same.
I do.
I think we
Samoas.
just picked the 3 I would buy.
Same.
To be honest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. I think I know what you know?
You go first.
Okay.
I think I know. I'm
All
having
right.
trouble on which one I want to marry.
Same. I'm kind of like, I think I'm going to marry Thin Mint because I think Thin Mint's between Samoa and the trefoil, right?
You got a little edge to
He's
it.
got a little edge. He's got a little bit of, a little sweet, a little, you know what I mean?
You know what makes the Thin Mint the best is the thin part of that. It's like that nice thin cookie.
Well, he's probably got a big dick then, right? Tall and skinny.
That's always the way.
I'm going to fuck a Samoa because that motherfucker.
He's sexy. He's the pecan pie of the Girl Scout cookie world.
That's an
got it going
Al
on.
Green cookie.
He's
That's
got
what it
layers.
is. The layers. So many layers.
So many layers.
A berry
And-
white cookie.
Oh, yeah. And I
Soulful.
got to kill a trefoil. I mean, it's the Brad of the cookies. Okay, Brad.
Trying to not take that personally, but
I am going to marry the Samoa, and it is because of those layers. It's like, okay, there's chocolate. I get that. Chocolate's pretty
you
standard.
got that caramel.
But the caramel, I'm like, oh, that is
Little bit of
sweet and
coconut.
delicious. A little crunchy of the cookie, and then holy shit, is that fucking coconut? Where did that come from?
Yeah.
I don't really like.
Yeah, you know what?
that.
It keeps you on your toes.
Keeps you on your
And
toes.
I'm the same. I'm like not the biggest coconut fan,
but it's
on a Samoa.
on a Samoa, he makes all those components work, and it's just like I can't get enough of him. I cannot. Once I open up that box, once I open up a Samoa, I need all of them.
Right.
All of it.
Yeah.
I'm
Once you
addicted
pop,
to it.
you
Yeah.
can't stop.
I am going to fuck a trefoil because even though it's pretty,
It's
pretty
pretty
vanilla.
basic, but you only got to do it once.
pretty basic, but there's something
Classic.
classic about it where I'm just like, sometimes that's what I want in bed. I might be a
Little
kind
missionary.
of
It's
freaky,
missionary.
but sometimes you want a good missionary.
And you know what? He's probably good at that.
He probably
good
is.
at that. It's not going to be
He's
bad.
so great. It's not going to be bad.
It's just going to be
Missionary.
standard.
Yeah.
But he's the kind of guy who's going to take you away to his family's house on the lake for the weekend.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He's going to make you breakfast.
Yeah.
I like it.
I do too.
He's going to take
he's
care
definitely
of
gonna
you.
make
But and the other thing too is he's not too sweet, and I know you don't like it. I don't really like it either when someone's too sweet. He's like just
Yeah,
right.
you're right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's not like it's not like a Samoa where it's not gooey.
Yeah,
You know,
he's
it's
not
like-
gooey. Yeah,
It's just straight up.
yeah. He's gonna give it to you straight. He's
Yeah.
gonna lay the pipe straight. He's gonna lay it really good.
You know what? I feel like you're going to wake up. What's going to happen is and you can either love or hate this. I think I would like it. You're going to wake up in the morning. He's going to be cooking you breakfast with CNN on. And then he's going to have a conversation with you.
Yes. Yeah.
About
Ooh.
current events.
I might even be talking myself into marrying the trefoil.
I'm going to
not
marry
be-
I'm going to marry the
I'm gonna be
trefoil.
honest.
Yeah.
I think I'm changing my mind. I think I talked myself and I'm like, this is the kind of man I
Because
want.
here's the thing.
He isn't too sweet.
No,
that's
and
it.
The trefoil might be a little Connecticut white bread for me. A little bit.
He's
A little bit.
kind of crumbly. So is he gonna fall apart? Is he gonna fall apart when shit goes down? Is he gonna crumble?
You better be ready. Because I'll tell you what, you dip that Samoa in tea.
But you know what? I have dipped
He's holding
many.
up.
I have dipped many a trefoil in tea, and they have not crumbled on me.
Okay.
So
Okay.
I think that they're pretty sturdy. So I'm gonna marry a trefoil, and yes, they might be a little preppy for me. Their family might be a little waspy for me, but you know what? I feel like I can pull them out. I feel like I can pull them out of that.
Definitely
And
from Connecticut.
They're definitely
Yeah.
from Connecticut.
Yes. I mean, his brother shows up in yacht shorts and a sweater around the shoulders,
And one of those
every
boat shoes.
time. Yeah. But I won't allow that. I won't
Sperry
allow
boat
that in our
fighters.
marriage.
Yeah.
I will say, in our vows, I'm like,
No Sperry.
no pink shorts.
No
You're
pink
not allowed to wear those.
No shirts with whales on it.
That's right. That's right. So, but I think that he's a good conversationalist.
Yeah.
I think that he's secure.
Mm-hmm.
He's going to provide you with a nice, comfortable life.
Yeah.
And I like that. So I'm going to go with a trefoil
Okay.
to marry.
Who are you gonna fuck?
I'm going to fuck a Samoa.
Dude,
Layers.
get that
Layers.
layers.
I gotta
Layers.
get
that coconut.
It is gonna be fun.
Wild.
Yeah, I feel like you don't know what you're gonna get because there's like,
What's you gonna taste first?
what are you gonna taste first? You don't
What's it
know.
gonna be?
You don't know. He is gonna put on some like old school soul music.
Here's what I think about coconut on a cookie, and you're the same way, is because like we're not sure if we like coconut. It's like somebody like licking your asshole for the first time.
Yes. That
You're like,
motherfucker is
I'm,
licking your
I'm
asshole.
not sure that
It's
I'm gonna like this.
unexpected.
It's unexpected.
Yeah,
And then you're like, oh,
Okay.
okay, this works.
And literally, that's how I felt the first time I had a Samoa.
yeah.
Somebody lick
Literally.
Don't think it's the same. It's not the same.
Because now hear me out.
Oh God.
I resisted.
You're like, no.
Wait,
ever
the
trying the cookie.
Okay.
Both.
Both. I was like, I don't know if I like this.
Yes, right? Like you have the apprehension. You're like, everyone keeps trying to force you to eat the Samoa. And you're like, I don't think I want to because I don't like coconut.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have it and you're like, where has
Or
this
do
been
I?
all my life?
Or
Now
do
I-
I like coconut?
Yeah.
Holy
Yeah.
shit.
Yeah.
Who
Yeah.
knew I liked coconut?
Exactly.
Apparently I'm
So,
a coconut girl.
He's gonna whip all that shit out for
Yeah.
you.
He's
Yeah.
gonna go
all of
coconut
it.
nuts on you.
And coconut.
Sorry.
No, you never apologize. That was a good one.
Oh my God.
But yeah, I also just feel like there's a big dick situation happening with
Oh,
the
Samoa?
Yeah.
Just the name of the cookie alone, I'm just like, that's big dick.
Yeah,
Samoa.
I feel like Jason Derulo
Samoa.
is like a Samoa
He's a
cookie
Samoa
vibe.
cookie. Yes.
Yeah, that's the vibe I'm getting.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then as much as I do like a Thin Mint, I am going to. I'm
I'll try
sorry.
not to take it personal.
I'm so sorry.
Wow. Well, I feel like we really got to the heart of the Girl Scout cookies. I'm
We
sure
did.
the Girl Scouts of America are really happy with our
Soups
assessment
appreciate.
of their cookies. Do you guys want to take 5 and we'll come back with stories?
Yes. And we're back.
Yeah. All right. I am going to start us off, and I should have gotten myself ready. I don't know what I was doing.
We got distracted. It's okay.
Okay.
Oh, I forgot to show you guys the trailer. Sorry.
Oh, that's okay. Okay. Well, first of all, I have this story in my inbox, and I joined a website for dating to try and get more dates. That was my only intent. I have been working too much for 2 years at my new job. I just wanted to have more fun. I got an email and set up a date with this girl. It's my 5th date from the site. It's been fun. Dude, for who? I'm like, dude, you're batting 1,000 then. I never
Yeah,
had
if you've
5
had
good
5 dates
in
in
a
a row,
row
yeah.
that have been good. Dude, you are winning. I don't know anybody that has this
Honestly,
kind of
tap
stats.
out right now.
But this one girl was like one of those love at first sight moments when we met at a restaurant.
Have you ever had that?
Yeah,
Really?
twice. I saw H and she was perfect. I tried to play it cool, but I felt like I could just cut ties with all the girls I've dated and just commit to her. Physically, she was everything I could ever ask for and exactly my type. Her personality seemed a 10 out of 10. About 30 minutes into sitting down, we didn't even order because we were just talking. The chemistry was as good as it was with my first love when I was 13. It was perfect. Sparks were flying. I thought I was done and ready to commit
I'm gonna
right
throw
here.
up, honestly.
Cassie's
It's so cute.
literally
I want to
My
like
skin's
gag.
crawling.
Yeah.
But then she tells me, forget about ordering food. Let's go somewhere else. And she has an idea.
Their waitress is like, fuck you guys.
Yes. She's like, ugh. She won't say much, and I like surprises, so I didn't ask much. We jumped in my car and drove to this restaurant about 20 minutes away, kind of out of town. It was halfway up a mountain.
She introduces her MLM presentation in
Oh,
PowerPoint.
no.
She's like, have you ever considered lip sense? You're like, oh no.
Your mother
Have you ever
will
wanted to
love that.
be your own boss?
You can make up to $2,500 a month. I'm familiar with the area, so it's no big deal. We walk in, and her family is celebrating her aunt's birthday.
Oh.
There was only family, and a lot of it. About 40 people.
Whoa, dude.
He said he wanted to marry her. So
Oh, man. Yeah.
It's
look,
happening right now.
If you were trying to accelerate, you've accelerated,
Yeah.
sir. You're there.
Here it is. You're welcome, actually.
She introduces me, and everyone was happy to meet me and really nice. Everybody also knew she was out on a first date. They were asking her stuff like, is this the guy? Is this your date? Is this the one?
It's a hard pass.
All of a sudden, I wasn't so cool and relaxed.
No
shit,
I
bro.
think it's so funny that he's like, when it was my idea, it was great. When other people started being like, hey,
Picking up what
y'all
you're putting down.
Y'all
Yeah.
gonna get married? You just fucking like moonwalk. You crabbed walk back.
All I could see is the Homer Simpson going
God.
through the bushes.
Yes.
I felt heavy pressure to be on my best behavior. It was
Why the fuck
high
would you
pressure
do
to the
this?
third degree.
Oh my God. Like, seriously, where would you have to be at mentally where you were like, you know what? All my family seems like a good
of
plan.
them. We've known each other for half an hour. You know what I think? I think that she's been single for a really long time, and her fucking family keeps like, when are you going to settle? Like, blah, blah, blah. And she's like, all right, I'm going to con this fucking sucker into.
That is so
That's
sad.
all I can think of, because I'm just like, why would you do this?
Why would you do this?
It makes my skin crawl. But everyone was so nice, so that helped. We sat down and I started being questioned by her older sister, her aunt, and
Oh my
another
God.
lady that I forgot her relation to my date.
I'm leaving. Did she drive?
No, he drove.
No, goodbye. Your
Goodbye.
family's here. They can take you home.
Oh, the mom started kind of defending me and telling them to back off and let me eat. But the interrogation continued. After I don't know how long, they turned to my date and jokingly said, "We approve."
Oh my God.
Then I was able to kind of get my bearings for a minute. I was
People need to stop doing that shit. I feel like that's the thing that people still do, where they'll
totally
be like,
is.
especially in the Midwest, they do that shit
Oh,
all
yeah.
the time. They make those like jokes where they're like, you got yourself a keeper. And I'm like, I've met you 20 minutes ago.
When do you get to have any say about my love life, Aunt Becky?
Well, and
Like,
even if you do,
literally
chill out.
don't do that shit in front of the person.
Yeah, it's
Because
so
it's
awkward. You just met them.
So uncomfortable for that person.
Yeah. I was totally off balance all night, just tense. I was afraid the back of my shirt would get a big wet spot because I felt sweat on my back. So the sister brings her cute little girl and lets me hold her.
Oh my God.
And she and my date started taking pictures of me holding her and somebody else's baby boy as well.
No.
It's gonna be in fucking family photo albums.
Well, and also, I guarantee you, speaking of like Midwest things to say, I guarantee you, someone in that fucking family was like, oh, he's a natural. He's
Yep.
going to make such a good daddy
Yep.
someday. I
Yep.
guarantee you somebody
That was
fucking
said.
said that
Yeah,
shit.
Someone for real said that.
And then you're like, I will drop this kid on the floor. I don't give a fuck.
Oh, look, I'm going to be a terrible dad.
I kind of felt like I was married to her and these nice people were my in-laws.
Oh, man.
After a couple of hours, probably closer to 3 hours,
Watch them end up getting married at the end of this fucking story.
everybody was kind of tiring out and everything began to wind down. Keep in mind, her car is still at the other restaurant down the hill. Then her dad suddenly asks me, jokingly, in quotes,
Oh, no.
what my intentions
I knew
are
it!
with his daughter.
I need to know where they're at immediately.
I guarantee, if
Are they
it's
in
not
911?
Are they in
Columbus,
Montana?
Ohio, swear
Where
to God.
are you?
Everybody at the table looked at me, which is about half the people there. I guess I was exhausted from all the questioning and the pressure of it all because I kind of lost it. He asked the question. I looked across the table at her.
Motherfucker, I met your daughter 3 hours ago.
Yeah, literally. She told her dad to stop it. Her dad smiles and says he'd really like to hear my response.
Oh, no.
And her
Oh, no.
uncle
Oh,
also
no.
said he'd like to know.
I don't know.
I looked at my date and said, "Can I talk to you alone for a minute?
Can you finish shut the door, please?
That's what happened. To which her dad laughs loudly and says, I made him nervous. So everybody is
fucking
laughing
hate
at
that
me now.
shit.
And I
I
guess
hate that. Like, that dude was that dad is the dude you fucking hated in high school.
Oh, for
That's
real.
that fucking guy.
For real.
He's got a thick neck.
First fucking date, dude.
No, I fucking hate that. It's so mean. Don't stop doing that to people.
So I said to my date again, hey, can I please talk to you alone for a minute? I stood up in place. And it was one of those long bench seats, and I couldn't push it back because other people were sitting on it.
He's having a sidle. Excuse me. Pardon me. Like stepping over legs to get out.
Then her sister says, oh, there's no secrets in this family.
Okay.
Speak your mind.
I'm not a part of this family, bitch.
I know.
Hi, I'm a stranger here.
Stranger
in a strange land. I don't want to be
Call
here.
me Michael Valentine. Get me the fuck out.
People then laugh again, and everyone starts making jokes about not having secrets, and this man who married into the family somehow tells me he remembers being in my place, and he says, let me give you some advice, son.
Run.
Best thing to do is to speak your mind and be honest. So I look at my...
Oh, that poor man. He's been just beaten down. You're like looking at your future. It's like looking in a mirror.
This is like the movie Get Out.
Yeah, you're like, that's the future you.
So I looked at my date, and she says something like, you can tell me anything here. We're all family.
Oh, no.
I just wanted to smash. That's what he says in front of his whole family. Oh. I thought we came here to smash. That's what I thought we were about to do.
I had started to lose my ability to tell when people were joking or when they were serious. So the dad says, wait, I haven't gotten an answer to my question. I finally speak directly to him and say, I'd like to discuss that with her first. Her dad says, I asked you first. I want to know.
Jesus Christ.
I turned to my date and she says something like, go ahead and tell me. I'm a big girl. I can handle it. So I said...
Look, it's not about you. It's not about whether or not you can handle it. You've put me in a situation where I'm with your whole family. Like, if they have to take a side, they're taking your side. They're your family. It's unfair to him. Like, what kind of sociopath does this to somebody on a first date?
This is insane.
The secondhand embarrassment is like thick.
I took a guy one time while my ex and I were on a break to Spaghetti Warehouse for my Gigi's like 70th birthday, I think, and he got completely hammered. Your sweater's over your head.
I hate it.
Oh my God. So I said, okay, and sat down, then took a couple of breaths while her dad kind of quieted everybody down.
Oh no.
I started with, I think I made a huge mistake.
Yeah, you gobbed.
It all spiraled.
You gobbed blue that situation.
It all spiraled down from there. I said harsh things like, I felt like I was having a bad dream where I was suddenly married. I questioned her intentions in bringing me there. I said stuff like, what were you thinking? Yes, I liked you, but I just met you, and right now I know your aunt better than I know you. I think she was humiliated, but I couldn't stop. The more I spoke, the more bad stuff came out. Total
Word
fucking
vomit.
Tailspin.
Oh God, diarrhea of the mouth.
Oh no.
Then people started interrupting and chiming in and suggesting she and I slow down and have a real first date. I wasn't having it.
I'm sorry.
Was out of control.
I asked if I could speak to her alone. Y'all said nah.
I said, no, it's too late for that. I feel robbed here. I wanted to meet this girl, get to know her, date her, and maybe fall for her. But now it's like we're engaged and her whole family's here and there are all these expectations. We skipped the getting to know each other part and the dating part, and I feel robbed. Then I said yet another thing. I said, it's a huge red flag that I asked for a minute alone with you to talk, and this is what I got instead. I said, you're all great and a great family, but the lack of certain boundaries is a huge red flag for me. I would never let my relationship become family business. Boom.
I'm
drop.
Honestly, I'm so fucking
good for you.
I
Good for
really,
you.
yeah.
Dude, the boundary set. Yeah, because can you imagine? That is literally my nightmare. Like having other people like input on your fucking.
And that's what I mean.
Literally, that first date.
And that's what I mean when I'm like, you're looking at your future when you're looking at that dude and he's like, just give in.
Yeah.
Because like there's no other option. Like that is what would have happened to you if you'd stuck with that shit.
My date interrupts me at this point and says, okay, so let's talk in private. Let's go outside and talk.
Now.
I'm sorry I didn't give you that minute. Let's go outside and talk privately. I'll give you all night. I stood up again and realizing that I had insulted all of them, I just quietly walked out. I felt really bad because they were all nice and had nothing but the best intentions
You know what, though?
for me.
Look, I get that, but sometimes
sometimes
people
against the wall.
deserve to be insulted. That's exactly right, because it's just like they didn't give you what you needed, and what you needed was like a fucking second to
and
breathe.
He even like asked, he's like, "Can I talk to you for a minute?" Like
Twice,
like three times, and she's like, "No, not like everyone's." Dude,
why would she not give him like honestly, that's a huge red flag, not just from the family, not just from the dad, who I feel like totally crossed the line.
Yeah.
But from her, because it's like you had so little self-awareness that you brought him there in the first place.
Yeah.
And then I feel like I try to be very in tune with people, and I would feel like I would know if they were uncomfortable.
Absolutely.
And so even if I made the mistake of bringing them there, I feel like I would be like, you're uncomfortable pretty early into the experience, and I would try and get them out of it. Like, cool, glad we got to see you guys. I'm going to take him home or whatever. I would never put someone through that.
Oh my God. Yeah.
Ugh.
Can I
hurt for him?
Can I talk to you alone for a minute?
Oh my God.
Oh my God, it is my
shut the door,
nightmare, because
please?
like you want to be liked. You really do. Like, you
Yeah.
want to be liked by people, and
He's like holding babies. Fucking.
man.
he's like, this is fine. This is fine.
Oh no. Oh no. You're absolutely right. Somebody in that room said he's going to make a good dad.
Oh, fuck off.
That guy's boner went away forever.
Especially since like whenever she was like, hey, let's not order appetizers. Let's get out of here. You know, he was like ka-ching.
yeah.
I know.
Yeah. And then the second
like,
they got
all
out
right.
of there, no, you're going to be holding babies and talking to my Aunt Gladys for the rest of the evening. No.
Gladys.
Oh my God.
All right, guys. I have a John Morgan for you.
Oh,
The
shit.
famous
Johnny Boy.
Morgan.
All right.
Johnny Boy. Like, can't wait to hear how he likes that.
He'll let us know.
He'll let us know, yeah. Okay,
He's
guys.
like, absolutely not.
Yeah,
He's
pretty
like,
much.
"Nah, it's not my preference. I feel like he'd be really polite about it. He's very nice.
He'd be very chill about it, yeah.
Okay. So he says, this is a story he titled My Funny Valentine.
Oh, perfect for February.
Yes. It was 1981. It was I was 23 and was casually dating a 5 foot tall cutie. I didn't usually care for short girls, but she had the cutest face, wide smile, and great body. We were not exclusive, and one afternoon it occurred to me it was Valentine's Day. I thought I would do something romantic and impulsive. I showered, shaved, got dressed in my finest suit and went to the gift shop. I bought a big, beautiful red rose in full bloom sealed in a glass globe. I went to her house. That's so in 1981. I see it.
I see
In
it.
a globe.
In a globe.
And you're about to accelerate your relationship, sir. You thought you
know.
weren't serious, but
Dude, a
You
Valentine's Day.
dater.
Ooh.
with a globe.
With a
even.
gift.
There's glass involved. That shit's
Yeah.
fancy.
It is.
You can just get her like a
Usually I
chocolate
reserve
covered
this for-
rose or something. You know?
Dude, I'd actually be shocked. I'm like, if a guy gets you anything on Valentine's Day, because most guys avoid that shit like the plague.
Anthony bought me socks with cats on them.
See,
That's perfect.
so
For Valentine's Day.
That's perfect.
And a card. Anthony does do this really cute thing that I feel like should be memorialized in one of our episodes, where like for any birthday, one time he did it for Mother's Day, but like any birthday or like holiday, he'll give me a card signed by our cats. So
Okay,
it's like
that's cute.
Hicks-
When you said Mother's Day, I was like,
no,
excuse me,
yeah,
what?
he gave me one year where like Matilda's is all like cursive and like very, very proper, and then like Hicks
is, like,
writes like
backwards
a baby.
R.
Yeah, it's like backwards R's and like drawings of like cars and shit like that.
That is the cutest.
Does that like every year.
That's
I
so
love
cute.
that
I do
so
too.
much.
That's awesome.
Did we ever find out who sent Stacy and Brian?
Oh, I think it was Mackenzie and Michael.
Oh,
I think.
okay. That sent them cards
From
for
their cats.
Valentine's Day for
That's
their
so
cats.
fucking
That's fucking
cute.
hilarious.
I love
is.
it.
It's adorable.
Anyway, sorry, a
So-
globe with flowers. He's sending the shit.
Here he comes. I went to her house, rang the doorbell. She was very surprised to see me. It became obvious by her body language and expression on her face that she was not alone.
Honey, you made a mistake by thinking she was alone on Valentine's Day.
Dude, I'll tell you, when I was on the apps, when I was like dating, I don't just show up unannounced. Cause
Don't assume.
It's 2020. Don't show up unannounced ever. Because I will assume you're a murderer. If you're at my door.
How do you know where I live?
911.
Exactly.
Yes.
I apologized and said I was impulsive romantic and thought she might welcome a Valentine's Day surprise. I knew we were not exclusive and I should not have shown up without calling first. She was concerned for my feelings. I told her not to be. I had been on her side of the equation so many times that I thought it was refreshing to be on the other side. I thought it was funny. I offered my gift just the same. She opened the box and looked disappointed. Don't you like it? I asked. It's beautiful, she said, and much more thoughtful than what my boyfriend got me. Oh, you have a boyfriend? So I'm your side man?
Nice.
It's okay. I've been in this role before. She handed me the gift back. I can't take this. He will wonder who gave it to me. No problem, I said. I am sure you have plenty. She said, I'm sure you have plenty of other girls you can give this to. I answered, I do, but you live the closest.
I'm going to pee my pants.
You live the closest.
What every girl has always wanted to hear.
Savage. Damn.
Oh, she laughed.
Came for her throat.
I laughed. I drove away with a big smile on my face, thinking how ridiculously wrong this evening went. I could have driven to the next closest girl's home, but she might have a legit boyfriend too. I decided to give it to a deserving stranger. I found her about 40 minutes later serving ice cream. She was tall, broad shoulders, but she had this kindness in her smile, and she'd handed this cup of ice cream to a child. And that's my girl, I said to myself. I stood in line in my finest suit and overcoat. When it was my turn to order, I gave her the gift. I said, I'm your secret admirer. Happy Valentine's Day.
Oh, that. She's like,
excuse me? She opened the box in front of her coworkers and customers to reveal the beautiful red rose encased in glass, immortalized in its full bloom. She loved it. Her happiness filled me with joy. As I left, she asked me who I was. I replied, I told you I would not be a secret admirer. If I told you I wouldn't be a secret admirer.
oh, smooth.
Okay. She was still full of wonder, staring at the beautiful gift when I pulled out of the lot. That evening turned out to be one of the favorite Valentines. Can you imagine? Some guy shows at your work and is like, I'm your
In a
secret
suit.
In a suit. I'm your secret admirer, and here's a flower for you. I'm your secret admirer, and I'm not going to tell you my name. 9-1-fucking-1.
I know. I was frightened.
Guys,
This
the early 80s.
yeah.
You
yeah.
accepted a lot of shit, I'm
This
sure,
is
back
so
then.
true.
Nowadays,
you're like, I'm in a John Hughes film.
Yeah, exactly.
Am I Molly Ringwald?
It gave us expectations that were not okay. Because
my
now,
God.
if somebody showed up at my work, I'd be like, get the fuck out.
I'm fucking crying, dude. He said,
Oh, man.
yeah,
It's like,
I do.
I'm your secret
but you're the
admirer.
closest. Oh, I love it.
Honest.
Love it.
Okay, so this is from an email, and the subject line is how I carried out a date from hell.
Whoa.
First of all, I love your podcast, so here's a story on how I wanted to punish a guy by giving him the worst date ever.
Oh. Okay.
Ooh.
I know, a little twist. Me and my friends were going out for a girls' night. It was a good evening, and we were all pretty tipsy when this guy approached me. He was good-looking and seemed to be a nice guy. We started talking, and after a while, he asked me for my phone number. I usually never give my number to complete strangers, but since I was very tipsy, he was lucky enough to get it. He texted me the following morning and asked me out for dinner. I was looking forward to the date since he made a good first impression. About 1 hour before we were supposed to meet up, I decided to look up his number and check his Facebook profile.
As you should.
Yes.
First of all, you should always do that.
Always
And then
check.
you take fucking screenshots and send them
Send
to
them
your
to your
besties.
friends. That's right. Tell them where you're going.
Yep.
Sign up for Noonlight.
I like how Christina's learned.
I know.
Yeah.
Safety check, bees.
You got to do it.
Mm-hmm.
But she says that she did it because she couldn't remember his face, so she wanted to check up on him.
Well, also true.
I mean, good, because yes, when you're tipsy, you're like, I bet that person was hot, and then you see them later, and you're like, never mind.
You guys, there were times when I was dating, and I'll have to dig it up to see if I can find it. At one point, I had to make an Excel spreadsheet to keep facts straight.
That's
Who's
my
got
girl.
the brothers? Which one's from,
Excel spreadsheet.
That is my girl.
Wisconsin? Which one is like, oh, okay, don't make mom jokes around him because his mom's dead. Like that kind of thing. It's like pertinent information that I'm like, I don't want to have to repeat conversations. And I do. It was almost like I had to fucking study up.
You know? And I, there's a soul connection with people who enjoy Excel spreadsheets.
Oh,
also
girl.
Cassie.
Love it.
I love it. Someone asked me that in a job interview, and I think I freaked them out because they were like, they said it like it was like, ugh, might be like a shitty part of your job. Like you're going to have to like manage Excel spreadsheets. And I was like, I love Excel.
And they were like,
I was like, I can keep that shit so organized.
Oh,
and they
so
were
organized.
They had their cell phone under the desk calling 911.
911. Yeah, they were like, they're calling security. They're like, we're going to need you to escort this crazy bitch out of this office immediately.
Oh my God.
Okay, so she goes. I go on his page and discover that he is actually good looking, but he is also, quote, in a relationship.
Oh.
The clock is ticking.
Okay.
It's now only 30 minutes before I'm supposed to meet him. I go back and forth on whether to cancel, contact his girlfriend, or just send an angry text message. After a while, I decide to teach him a lesson and give him a date from hell, considering I had already dressed up and was looking good for the evening. Hoping that he would learn a lesson and never repeat this mistake again.
Yeah, here's the thing. Like, you may drag your feet on making that change on Facebook to in a relationship.
Sure.
But you don't fucking drag your feet when it's over. You're like,
bye.
We done.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.
And you delete
That's
all
right.
those pictures you ever had with
That's an interesting.
Like you didn't exist.
That's an interesting conversation to have.
Oh,
that we can have on this podcast because people are very polarized on whether or not to delete photos. And when I broke up with my ex,
I think it depends on how long you were together.
We were together for 4 years.
Yeah.
And people were straight up like, why didn't you take all those pictures down? And I was like, well, because it was a part of my life for 4 fucking years.
I didn't take any of my photos down because I'm like, what am I going to have like a fucking 10-year gap in my story?
That's
like,
how
it's
I
like
feel.
ridiculous.
And like, this was a thing that happened.
Yeah.
This was a person who was important to me at that time.
Right.
It's not anymore, but I'm not going to erase it like it didn't happen. And
pictures with people I was friends with who I'm not
and
necessarily don't really hang out with.
No
anymore.
judgment for people who decide to do that, like whatever you need to do. But like for me,
and there are times too, I think
circumstances.
that it's the circumstances behind the relationship and behind the breakup. Because if that person's like incredibly toxic or like fucking nasty, then maybe
if is it painful for you to see those pictures, then by all means take them down. I read sorry, we're going like off, but I read a Medium article recently because I get like email notifications, and it was a person who does not see her family anymore on like holidays, will not go home because she was in a relationship with somebody who was emotionally abusive to her, and her family will not take down their wedding pictures from the wall. And she's like, if you don't take these, she's told them in like no uncertain terms, like if it's triggering for me to see these photos, and if you don't take them down, I'm not coming over. And they refuse to take them down, so she doesn't see her family anymore.
So they would rather have a fucking picture up than their actual fucking...
and they just keep telling her that like, oh, you're being too sensitive, you're being ridiculous.
No, you're being ridiculous. That is the most fucking insane thing ever.
Oh, that was weird.
Yeah. Anyway, that's a total sidebar. But anyway, so this person is in a relationship on Facebook. I get to the restaurant and he is standing outside waiting for me. I kick off this date by saying, did you really meet up for this date without flowers? Where are my flowers?
She's gonna fucking
like, I'm coming in hot.
She's gonna come in like Kate Hudson in that fucking
Yes,
Matthew McConaughey movie.
My love
Let it die.
10 things I hate about you. Oh my God. So she says, yeah, where are my flowers? He gets really nervous and replies, I'm so sorry. I can run down to the store and buy them right now. To which I reply, ugh, never mind. Let's go and eat. At least I get food out of this.
She's coming in hot.
Dude, you know the
This
big
is a
balls
savage.
you have to have in order to like fucking
at the big
behave
balls
that
on
way.
Mm-hmm. That's
As
right.
a people pleaser, I'm just like, I don't know if
Oh,
I'd have
no.
the balls to do this.
I would have. Honestly, this is awful, but I probably would have just ghosted. No, it's not awful. He's in a relationship. I would have just
I
ghosted this
probably would have
motherfucker.
ghosted too.
I would have not responded
I
and
would've
not
canceled.
gone. Yeah. We sit down and
I
start
would have
talking.
sent him a picture of him in a relationship and like text message and be like, we're done.
That's the way to do it.
Yeah.
Oh,
Circle
yeah.
it.
Yeah.
Mark
Oh,
it up.
this?
Yeah.
This right here?
Yeah.
We block my number.
Be like,
Goodbye.
honestly, if you're gonna cheat on your girlfriend, make your fucking profile
Private.
You dunce.
God damn.
I-
Okay,
I don't
boomer.
date stupid people. So
That's
there
right.
you go.
We sit down and start talking. I had already made up a backstory to my character for the evening. I love it.
I
She
love
like
this.
Stella Adlered this whole thing. She fucking like she's been Meisnering at home. She's got all of the like acting techniques. Since I'm half Italian, I decided to be the daughter of a big mafia boss who had already killed 2 of my boyfriends. Oh shit! I start telling him how hard it is with one parent in and out of prison and how awful it is to date since my father is watching me constantly. I thank him for risking his life by going on a date with me.
That is fucking incredible.
The whole time, I'm being really obnoxious and demanding everything on the menu. This guy is sweating out of fear for his life and his wallet.
It's awesome.
I go
Oh my
into
God.
detail on how my boyfriend's disappeared, hoping that I can now scare the living hell out of him. After the date, he asked me if he could drive me home. I was surprised by this, but since I really didn't want to take the bus home, I agreed. I make a point that he should park a couple of houses away so the guards in the house didn't spot me getting into his car.
Wow.
I didn't want him to know where I live, and this fit my narrative about my father being controlling. Thinking that I really taught this guy a lesson, and laughing so hard inside when he finally stopped the car, he says, "So when can I see you again?"
What?
Wow.
He's
Dude,
nervous.
do you know how pretty she
Hot.
must be? She
So
is
hot.
beautiful.
So hot.
Yeah.
I am totally shocked by this and respectfully decline a new meeting by saying, "Sorry, I don't share my toys and you already have a girlfriend. Bye."
Bye.
Yes. Oh
Goodbye.
my God. That is incredible.
Ooh-wee.
What's up with that? What's up with that? Oh my God. Woo. Woo. Okay, are you guys ready for my crazy in love? Which
Sorry.
I already told you guys
You
what
were
it was
prepared
about.
so early.
I was, because last week I thought it was mine, and so I binged.
I should have gave it to you.
I know, right? No, I was so excited because I watched I, Tonya, and Eric. I was actually scrambling for a Crazy in Love, and that's when Eric suggested Tonya Harding, and I was like,
Perfect.
"Oh
Great.
my God!"
Yes.
So then I just got everything Tonya Harding I could get. I watched the 30 for 30, The
Yes.
Price of Gold. Fucking phenomenal! It's
So
one of the
good.
best
30 for 30 is so good.
They're so good. So I
Dude,
watched that, and I watched I,
Believe Land?
Tonya.
Bless up.
Yep. And I also like read just a whole bunch of random articles, Wikipedia, of course, and just pieced some stuff together. I just love this story because I fucking remember it. This is a big part of my childhood.
Yeah.
I was little at the time. I was like second, third
What
grade.
year was this?
94 Olympics is when it all went down.
Yeah.
So yeah, I was like in 5th grade.
I was too young to even remember this thing happening, but it was such a huge part of like our cultural like pop culture landscape for the next decade. That it was anybody who was a child in the 90s. This whole situation
was like Joey Buttafuoco.
Yeah,
it's all part of that.
Into your memory.
There's so much, and I love that we were talking about like the 90s zeitgeist like earlier in the episode, because it's so much a part of that. Okay, so of course I've got my crazy murder notes. They're not as written out as last time because I just osmosis the information, and so I'll tell you this crazy story in my own way. And of course, I think the thing that I liked about delving into the story is what I thought the story was as a kid, and what has come through to me in my own fucking opinions since that time, and then seeing what the actual truth is.
That's how I felt when I watched the 30 for 30.
Yeah.
Like I was like, they tried real hard to convince me of something that is so much more nuanced than
it really
they tried to make me believe it was.
Exactly.
Like, but that's everything. I feel like when you get older, you're just like, oh, every situation has more nuance to it than like they like that's the media. It's like they want you to pick a side, and they decide which side is the one that you should be on.
Yep.
You know, and especially in the 90s.
Oh yeah,
dude.
Yeah. Okay, so Tonya Maxine Price was born on November 12th, 1970 in Portland, Oregon, to Al and Lavana. And Lavana Golden is a gem. And I will say the best thing about Lavana Golden is that fucking interview that they show clips of her on that 30 for 30 where she's got that fucking fur coat and the bird on her fucking shoulder. I'm just like, that is a look. You know what I mean?
With a WK.
Yes. EWK.
That is a look all day. That is gives no fucks.
No.
Literally. If you want to know gives no fucks, it's Lavana Golden gives no fucks. So they were poor. Her father was constantly between jobs. He had a problem with alcohol, and his mother was waiting tables and stuff. So trying to support a family on, you know, waiting tables and odd jobs was really difficult. But somehow there's like an ice rink that opened up in their mall, and Tonya was like entranced by it and really wanted to skate, which I'm like, that's so interesting to me that like a family that's struggling would even entertain the idea of letting their child skate. Because I can't think of a more expensive fucking hobby ever.
Right. That's just expensive.
I remember I grew up fucking poor, and I wanted to take like ballet. My mom was
gymnastics,
like,
LOL. No.
Here's some rocks. Go throw them outside.
They're like, we have a lake somewhere close by.
Your mom's version of LOL was lots of love. Go play with rocks.
Go play with rocks.
Listen, honey, I love you. You're my whole world. Go play with rocks.
Or like, you know, like any kind of like music lessons and stuff like that. So there was part of me when I was reading this story, and this is terrible to say because obviously like Lavana like definitely went way over the line into abuse with Tonya. But I was like, part of me was like, man, I wish my mom pushed me. Like
I think that all the time. And yes, of course, like these people go over the line, and you don't want to go that far, but like
maybe a little farther, Mom.
I love my mom. I love my mom.
I would have been really great at sports.
Really great at something.
Really
Jesus
great at
Christ.
anything. I love my mom so much. And like Tammy Sue, the best. I love you so much.
Tammy is the best.
She's the
we
best.
Love Tammy.
I love her.
I will not disgrace my mother by saying that your mom's the best, but your mother is great.
She's great. And I love her very much. But I say this all the time. I'm like, I was in dance when I was real little. And I think I was in tap. And I think I went home once and I was like, I don't really like this. And so my mom just took me out of tap. Because she was so scared to be that like stage mom. She was so scared to be Lavana that she never wanted to make me do anything I didn't want to do. And I'm like, Mom, you should have pushed me.
Forced me. Yeah, exactly.
You should have like forced me to do things I didn't want to do because I would be a really good tap dancer now if I had started at 3.
As a mom.
Yeah.
And now living through the other side of this.
Yeah.
I wish my mom had pushed me further and so many things. I would have been I'd have been a great soccer player, a great basketball player. There's so many things I would have been really good at.
But I understand it because I know my mom.
When you have a kid who says they're not interested in something, you can push. Now that I have a son, like, you know, who's 23 now. I'm like, sure, I could have pushed him further to really get more into soccer, more into those things. But at some point you're like, not all battles are worth the fight.
Yeah.
Right, but
And you don't realize
I
that
was
when you're
5.
Yeah.
And like I'm not old enough to make my own decisions.
Yeah.
You
Make
gotta
me learn piano.
Make me make decisions.
my mom did make me learn piano, and I hated it.
I wish I knew how to play. I'm
I
so
don't know how to
fucking
play because
jealous.
that teacher
You
was
were like,
horrible.
Out of spite, you were like, my fingers will not learn Ode to Joy. It's not happening.
So anyways, somehow at 3 years old, she is like a skating prodigy. She's just incredible at it right off the bat, which is like crazy because most 3-year-olds can't even like walk well, let alone skate. I can't even walk well. I'm 30 fucking 8. I definitely can't ice skate.
We're about to go roller skating tomorrow.
Oh,
so
I can't wait.
I'm gonna
guys.
eat so much shit, just face full of
I'm
shit.
gonna have space buns. I'm gonna have
Hell yes.
roller skates.
I wish I had the
so-
like knee high socks, but
Me too.
But yeah, I went I went ice skating this winter.
It's hard.
And I love ice skating. It's so much fun, but you always think you can do more shit than you can.
Oh,
you
yeah.
get on the ice and you're like, oh, this shit's hard,
It's
actually.
really
Yeah.
hard.
Oh, by the way, happy birthday, Vanessa. We're going to see you tomorrow for your birthday that you don't know
And it's a
about.
surprise.
Yeah. Ha. And okay. All right. So she ends up like getting on the ice at 3 years old and is incredible and gets to train with this fucking incredible coach, Diane Rollison, like young, and is winning skating competitions at the ripe old age of 4. So she's just a prodigy. She's amazing. So the problem is that her mother, instead of pushing her, beats the shit out of her, which is like, she's like, you know who did a good job of motivating kids? Joe Jackson. I'm going to take that approach.
Yikes.
Oh, no.
Let's do that because those,
That's not a model.
it's not a model to look at.
And you know what's really fucked up is recently, like Joe Jackson died like 2 years ago or something like that. And there were people on my Facebook timeline that were like, we still have to respect him because he gave us the Jackson 5. And I'm like, what? Because like,
No, we
as
don't.
someone who adored that music when I was growing up and was like a huge part of like what shaped my childhood, would rather the world have gone without that than those children have dealt with what the fuck we dealt with.
absolutely.
Like,
Absolutely.
horrifying.
Yeah, it's awful. And the
Where's that story as a movie?
I know.
Oh, it exists. Jackson 5, The American Dream. The Jacksons, The American Dream. We had it. It was a made-for-TV movie.
Oh.
And my grandparents taped it on VHS.
Yeah, they did.
And I watched it every summer.
Oh my god.
Every
Oh my
summer.
God.
And the moment when his pet rat dies, Ben, that's what the song Ben's about.
Oh my god, Ben makes me cry every time I hear it.
It was about
Literally.
his pet rat that his parents killed. Ben. So sad. Anyway.
Wow. Wow.
Anyway.
Oh my god. So she has to endure like years of abuse. Her mom is couching this abuse in saying like, I had to motivate her. I had to, but she's a fucking little girl. She's a
Yeah.
little girl. And having her mom beat her with a hairbrush, having her mom like make her pee on the ice because she's like, no, I fucking paid for this lesson. You're going to skate, not letting her pee. And so she would pee herself on the rink. It's not shocking at all that she at 15 meets Jeff Gillooly.
15 also, guys.
15.
Think back to who you were at 15. I was
my
such a
God.
fucking idiot.
I was
Oh,
so
God.
dumb.
I could definitely not make decisions.
No, I definitely couldn't make romantic decisions.
Absolutely
at all.
not.
Yeah,
At all.
I almost got arrested for stealing cigarettes from a Big Bear at 15. So that's who I was.
Girl, we would have hung out faux show. A hundo.
I was like super into Rage Against the Machine.
Yes.
And I almost, and I
we
got,
would have been friends all through our lives
yeah.
if we had known each
So
other.
that was
even
me
then.
at 15. So dude, no shade on finding a Gillooly. We all have a Gillooly.
We all got a Gillooly.
We all do. You know who you are. So she meets him and is instantly like smitten. She drops out of high school shortly after that. And her and Jeff begin dating. And he is kind of the same as her mother, like really controlling, really like hovers around her, circles around her. And I think it's funny. All these people, I feel like she must have felt that pressure to perform, to also like get them out of where they were. You know what I mean?
Of
She
course.
had this incredible skill.
And I'm sure they made them feel that. I'm sure they made her feel that way.
it
I'm sure
was
they
her
did.
responsibility.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're paying all this money for you to do these lessons. You better be the best at it. And it's an investment for them.
Yes,
Like
that's
they're
right.
investing in you so that you can make enough money to get them out of their situation.
Yeah. So they moved in together in 1988. And she's at this point starting to move up in the figure skating world. She's really starting to, she's not like winning competitions or anything, but she's placing. She's starting to get noticed.
Yeah. Making a
But-
name for herself.
The thing is, she can't quite place because she does not fit in. This is somebody we talked about that skating is an expensive sport. You're talking about outfits that cost thousands of dollars, those sparkly, shiny outfits.
Yep.
Lavana sewed her costumes. And then when she moved out, Tonya sewed her own costumes. You're talking about somebody who was considered on the wrong side of the track. She didn't look
And
like
she
a
didn't
skating
try
princess. And
either,
she
is
didn't
the thing.
try.
Yeah.
She always said she was a tomboy, and she went after the
She had frizzy
athleticism.
hair. Yeah.
Oh my God, that hair.
Which the athleticism of it, there's also, oh God, we did an episode on her years ago for YAMF for my other podcast, but there was another very famous black figure skater who actually was disqualified because she would do backflips on the ice.
Yeah.
And a lot of it was because ice skating was supposed to be this incredibly like graceful and feminine thing.
Right.
And when you
Not
did
athletic,
it
yeah.
where you were like, and we see it now too with like Missy Copeland in ballet where they're just like, you're an incredible ballet dancer, ballerina, but you're too athletic. You are too muscular. You take this as like a sport, and we want to look at our ice skating princesses, our ice princesses a certain way. You know what I mean? And so the fact that you're wearing scrunchies and you have frizzy hair is like not
goes
in
against
line.
everything.
And homemade costumes and everything. It was just like, and also you had, you know, these like ice princesses, you know, skating to, you know, this like classical music, and she's skating to like in 1991, her big like figure skating like moment, her fucking routine was set to the theme from Batman, the Michael Keaton one.
Yeah.
Hell
And
yeah.
it was mixed with Wild Thing by Tone Loc.
Yes!
All hail a queen. Oh man. Amen.
I'm like, that's badass. I'm like, she was kind of ahead of her time.
Yo, totally.
Honestly, because people do that shit now,
Yeah.
like all the time, but it was unfucking heard of. But she loved it. And that's the thing. It's like, her big performance in 1991, it's really cool to watch. And you know, I get like crazy emotional when people do
Me too.
do good. I know. And so when she finally
You've got the
does,
camcorder out and you're like, you're doing amazing.
I know.
sweetie.
You are
I am
her.
a Kris Jenner
All
all
day.
day, all day. I wish I was.
But that's me too. I cry if I'm watching Dancing with the Stars. She was on Dancing with the Stars,
Yes, she
Tonya
was.
Harding, and I was like, oh, sweetheart,
you're doing so
I'm
good.
so proud of you.
I know. So 1991, she's doing that for the U.S. like nationals, and she does something that had never been done before. She lands a triple axel in competition, and you see her when she lands it.
And
She
fist
just
pumps.
she does,
Yes,
and
she
her
does.
face, and it just lights up, and it's an incredible feat when they break down like what it takes to make that jump. It's so, it's just incredible. It's incredible.
Well, and I think it was very recently. It was the last Olympics. I think the last Winter Olympics where the first woman nailed the triple axel at the Olympics.
Right,
That's
because it's
wild.
never been done.
Because
Yeah.
it's physically so difficult.
Yeah.
It's so
and she
hard.
did it.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So,
Because of the athleticism. Because
Yeah.
men, I mean, first of all, like, yeah, their muscular structure is different or whatever, but like they've also been encouraged to take on that sport as a sport.
As a
whereas like
yeah.
women,
it's been more like ice dancing,
dancing,
pretty,
yeah.
pretty and graceful and stuff. And that's where she was losing points on, was in presentation. But once she landed that jump in 91, you can't fucking deny it. It's a record
right.
break. So of course she gets gold. So this is where things with her and Jeff start to break down, because Well, now in 1990, she's like 20. You know what I mean? She's not a 15-year-old girl anymore. She's going places.
You fucking wise up in those 5 years, I'll tell you what. Yeah.
Well, yeah. And it's like you've got, when you're in, I think about her and her position and how she grew up. And now she's just like, she's at her fucking peak. She accomplished something fucking incredible. And she is 20 years old and has her entire life ahead of her and all these potential, all this opportunity.
Right. The world's at her feet.
Exactly. And then you have this guy who slaps you around, first and foremost, which fuck you, 100 for that, and doesn't have like a real job or ambition, just sits and hangs out with his friend all day, his friend Sean Eckert, who's a real piece of work. So, yeah, of course, like, what are you going to do? So she asks him for a divorce for the first time in 91 and gets a restraining order.
When did they get married?
They got married in 90.
Oh, okay. So when she was 20, you said? Okay, she was 20?
She was 20 in 90. In 91,
Okay.
she'd been 21.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Oh, so he at least waited till she was a grown adult?
Yeah,
Oh,
exactly.
That's sweet. Nice.
So in 91 is the first time she asks him for a divorce and gets a restraining order against him because their relationship is violent. And this was like right after that amazing like triple axel. And then she went on to compete and land it again in another competition, which the other thing I thought was funny, you know who was like on the podium with her for both of those performances? Christy Yamaguchi.
What?
And Nancy Kerrigan.
Right.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
So she beat Kerrigan in both of those. However, after those competitions, Nancy Kerrigan is the one that gets all these endorsements. Nancy Kerrigan gets Revlon. She gets Campbell's Soup, which we all remember that Campbell's Soup commercial. And
That's right.
Yeah.
Yes, I do remember
and
that.
this was before like Kerrigan was winning anything. So like Tonya Harding just didn't have the look.
Right, because look at her. Exactly.
Yeah,
look at Nancy
exactly.
Kerrigan. And, you know, it's tough too because when you watch that 30 for 30, it's hard because you want to be team Tonya because you're like, yeah, this is fucked up. Especially any of us who grew up kind of poor. Yeah.
And what's fucked up is Nancy Kerrigan grew up kind of poor too.
And it's not her fault either.
She had a stable childhood and her parents were stable and it wasn't like Lavonna
and
Golden.
You know,
but
we have a friend who has said to us before, because she has such a stable, like kind of like upper middle class like childhood with such amazing parents, and she's like, sometimes I feel guilty that like I grew up like so fortunate. And you always say, and we always say, because she's our friend, we're like, no, we want that for you.
This is all wanted,
and this is what
we're happy for you
should have had. Like, that's amazing.
That's right.
Yeah.
And so I feel for Nancy Kerrigan too throughout this, because it's just like, it's not like she asked for any of this.
No,
and it's
she
not like
definitely
if she
didn't.
had been up against anyone else, it would have been a completely different story.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, so it's just Tonya Harding and Nancy Kerrigan are both just such victims in this whole situation.
They got typecast.
Yeah.
You know, it was really that comes later, but I mean, Nancy Kerrigan was
America's sweetheart.
the ideal for figure skating. She had a very graceful, live look about her. She was long, lean. She had like that patrician kind of face and just like very ballerina-esque. She was not as good of a skater as Tonya Harding, like especially 91, 92 when Tonya Harding was like in her fucking
Technical
prime.
peak.
She's just like, she couldn't compete. Like she just couldn't do technically the stuff that Tonya could do. But so the 92 Olympics were ended up being a bust. Like I said, Tonya seethed as Nancy got all the endorsements because she looked the part. This will come up again, but she ended up breaking her skate blade or something like that. But it kind of seems like anytime something went wrong on the ice, Tonya was quick to blame equipment or quick to blame this.
You did
that.
get that vibe. Like,
Yeah.
as someone who has definitely like pin shit on other on surrounding factors when things have gone wrong, when you see that video of her, and not to say that it's not true, like not to say that it wasn't something that happened, but like when you see her like look like she's like, oh, I just can't do it, and she like skates off the ice and she's like grabbing at her leg. it's very obvious that she's like gesturing, and that could all just be that like she wants to make it very clear
why she's
that
doing
like
it.
I'm getting off the ice not because I can't do it, but because I'm having an equipment problem. But it also kind of does look like she's like, I want to make it very clear. It's not me. It's not me. It's not my ability to
It's
skate.
not my fault. It's not my yeah. She kind of seems like, and from everything I watched, and I watched so many interviews with her and stuff. And I'll get to why I think this at the end, but she kind of seems like somebody that has gotten really comfortable with playing the victim.
Mm-hmm.
And definitely like blaming everybody else but herself, because out of every single thing that I watched, I never heard one thing that was her fault. Not one thing. Everything that went wrong with her life and that was wrong. And that's not to say that there weren't a lot of shitty things that happened to her. That doesn't take away from that. But there was zero So yeah, there was nothing that she did wrong.
I totally agree. And that's how I felt when I was watching it as well. But I also totally see how you can fall into that whenever like, because it probably took her a while to like realize that she was abused and she was taken advantage of. And once that happens, I think it's a slippery slope if you don't check yourself.
Right.
Like if you're not in therapy or you're not doing something that's like giving you some kind of outside perspective, I think it is very easy to then be like, well,
to blame everybody else.
Well, yeah, you guys all ruined my life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that there's a lot of anger there because she has a lot of fucking things to be angry about, for sure. But you hit the nail on the head without therapy and stuff, without being able to like rise above, realize your own part in it and learn from your own part in it. That's why we're going to end up where we end up. Because she ends up getting back together with Galuli. I don't know why, but you know, it happens. We all get back with Galuli, you know?
We all get back with the Galuli.
We all finally break up with him and then we get back with him. It is what it is.
It's the circle of life.
Exactly. And so, and things kind of go down the shitter for her. She's never able to, after those two competitions, she's never able to land that triple axel again, ever. Wow. So she's able to do it a couple of times in practice, but never in competition. She's never able to get it again. It kind of seems like the tumultuousness of their relationship really played out as well on the ice.
On the ice,
she also kind of gets a big head after winning and is like, fuck you, Diane, you know, to her coach.
Right.
And ends up like going to Dodie, who was one of Diane's students who is now becoming a teacher as well. And so she goes to Dodie and just declines. Like 92 is a shit year for her. 93 is even worse. But what happens in 93 is that the Winter Olympics and the Summer Olympics used to happen in the same year, and they were 4 years apart. Mm-hmm. So in 92, they decided to switch that up. And so they were going to have Winter Olympics and Summer Olympics separated. Exactly. So this would be the first year they had Olympics in 92. They were bringing the Winter Olympics back in 94 instead of 96. So she had an opportunity for redemption if she could get her shit together.
Which would suck for anybody who was in those years that were just kind of.
That's what I was going to say is like, because you prepare for a certain.
Yeah.
I mean, and also with athletes, it's like your window. Yeah. Your window for your prime is so small.
This was like a last hurrah for her, like these 94 Olympics. Because the next ones would have come around. What would have that have been? 98 would have been the next one.
Yeah.
Yeah. And she would have been 28 at that time. So maybe, but probably not, considering like how the trends for figure skating went to younger and younger and younger.
That's right.
And also the wear that she had probably put on her body.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
You know, because she'd been figure skating since she was 4.
Right.
Like that kind of wear from doing those like jumps, doing all of that like rehearsal for all of that time. It's like, really, for most athletes, it feels like they have a very limited window. They can participate in like 2 Olympics.
Yeah,
right. And it's like these 2, and like that's it. So if you switched up the years on them, it would completely fuck with like what they would be able to do, like what their bodies were capable of doing.
Right.
Yeah.
So she ends up apologizing to Diane. She's like, "I'll do whatever you need me to do." And Diane's like, great, you're going to get into shape. We're going to do things right. We're going to put you through the fucking training ground. And so she's driven, she's motivated. She's like, I can do this. She's got a lot of confidence in the rest of this is kind of up for interpretation.
Sure.
Depending on whose story you believe. From here on out, there's a billion different versions. I tried to boil down to what the actual facts, the events were.
Just
and
the
then
facts.
I'll pepper in like what some people said actually happened. So the first thing that happens is in November of 1993, Tonya receives a death threat while she's skating, which really like freaks her out. In the movie, the way that they explain it is that that is what starts this whole impetus to attack Nancy Kerrigan. Mm-hmm. And it really wasn't supposed to be an attack. It was supposed to be they were going to mail her death threats because they realized that Tonya blames her poor performance on that death threat. It's like, oh, it really got into my head and stuff. And so then they decide to mail those death threats to Nancy Kerrigan to get in her head too.
Right.
And that apparently Tonya knew about that, about mailing death threats. I'll go on and then we'll say what I think about that.
Do we know where those death threats came from?
Well,
supposedly
at the end of the day, they came from Sean Eckert, which is Jeff Gillooly's friend. And it was to promote his bodyguard business, which
these fucking buffoons, like
They
both of
are.
these motherfuckers are like 90s goons.
dude,
oh my God, they are.
interview with Sean Eckert, like on who was interviewing him, Diane Sawyer or something like that. And she's like, are you kidding me? And he's like, I'm an expert in counterterrorism
Oh my God.
techniques. And she's like, yeah, no, you're not. He's like, I'm an expert in counterterrorism.
You're like, just because you keep saying it does not make it true, bro.
Oh my God. It's the most incredible thing. So,
An expert how? Like an expert, like you're an expert in what way? Like I'm going to need to see some credentials, sir.
yeah, no, literally his credentials are like bullshit. It has a backwards R on it. The terrorism.
Hicks wrote it.
Hicks.
My cat wrote it. It was like, there's a drawing of an SUV on it. It's like, this is a truck. Okay.
Oh my God. So, what happens next? Apparently, like Sean and Jeff get together at Sean's house in his basement because he still lives with his mom.
Honey.
In his late 30s.
Honey.
Even
I'm
though he
sorry.
has a bodyguard business and all this
No.
other stuff. Like, apparently, yeah.
The guy that they got to play him in the movie, he's like a comedian, isn't he?
He was literally, I was crying laughing at
Yeah.
his
So
portrayal.
He's a comedian. He went on
so
to
funny.
do Richard Jewell. I think he's the guy who plays Richard
Oh,
Jewell in
brilliant.
the movie. Yeah, but like, he's great. And I just, okay. Anyway, sorry, continue.
So Sean and Jeff get together and apparently like Sean decides like it's not enough to just mail these death threats. He's like, I know a guy he can take care of Karen.
No one
I know
asked
a
you.
guy.
Like, literally, who asked you?
I can take care of this. And for me, when Tonya says she doesn't know anything at all about the plot, the only thing I can think of as feasible is that Jeff knew that Tonya was his meal ticket.
Of
and
course.
the idea of the
Exactly.
lucrative endorsements she could have gotten by getting gold, it is plausible to me that Tonya didn't know anything about it and that these
it's
fucking
plausible.
buffoons,
Very
these
believable.
losers, did it on their own in order to have their cash cow rake in more cash.
I will say when I saw her on the 30 for 30, I was like, I believe she didn't know anything. But also, I'm one of those fucking people who like, I think I can be easily swayed.
Yeah.
Because I'm like,
I came away from the 30 for 30 thinking she did.
really?
Yeah.
That she
yeah,
did know.
That she did know. Yeah.
Because it makes more sense to me if she knew something. Like, to me, I'm just like, I feel like it would be difficult for you not to know anything. And that's not to say that she is at fault because she was in an abusive relationship.
She participated in gathering information about where Nancy Kerrigan was practicing, where she would be, and when. So even if she didn't know, she knew something was up. That was the information that she gathered was more information than she needed to get for mailing the death threats. Because what were they going to do? Mail it to the arena where she was practicing at?
Right.
She got that arena and the time because she was going to be physically there.
I don't know. I always think it's difficult to say, like, because like domestic violence and all that shit is such a mind fuck.
Yeah.
That it's so hard to judge anyone's behavior because you're like, yeah, this seems so fucking irrational and like it doesn't make any sense that you would do this. But a lot about being in a relationship like that doesn't make any sense.
And I also feel like Tonya, the things that I watched about her, she still has this thing in her eyes where she looks like a little girl that doesn't think that she's good enough. And so despite her incredible athleticism and her incredible talent, I also believe that she didn't think she was good enough to beat Nancy Kerrigan. I feel like there's also this jealousy there that it's like...
And that's why she could land the triple axel in practice, but she couldn't do it in competition because there is something about... There's so much that I feel like I can do that whenever it comes time for me to need to do it in front of people, I fuck it up. And it's because if you have this kind of like perfectionism or this anxiety or like anything where you get in your head about anything, you will fuck it up like that. And that is how it is.
Narrative, her whole life has been not good enough. Not good enough. And it's reinforced by her mother from the youngest age. It's reinforced by people constantly telling her to do it better, do it right, do it better, do it right, to be prettier. You're better. Not good enough. You're not rich enough. You don't look the part.
It's so difficult because it's just like, at some point we need to find this balance because there's a lot of fault that people place on this self-esteem movement, right? Where everyone gets a participation trophy and like all that shit. But it's like that movement came out of this bullshit.
Correct.
Because it's like
so true.
We were so far on the other end of the spectrum where it was just like kids, we expected so much and we expected like perfection and all this shit. And we just
led
beat
to, like,
kids down.
So much anxiety.
Right. Where it like fucked them up so badly that we swung really far the other way.
Right.
And it's just like, at some point, it's like, are we ever going to get it right?
Yeah.
Where we don't like completely
There's got to be a middle ground, right?
Yeah.
Our youth.
You have to be like realistic, I think, and just be like, I don't know. I don't have them. I would want my kid to think they're the fucking best. Because they don't like
you get a trophy.
Fucking
special. But you know what? Like, I also think there is no right way to do it. That's what makes being a parent so difficult. Is because it's just like, for some people, I think your parent telling you you're the fucking best works.
Yeah.
For some people, it turns you into a narcissist sociopath.
Yeah.
Like, there is no, I don't know if you're pointing at yourself, Cassie, because you think you're the best or because you think you're a narcissist sociopath. But it's
both.
It's difficult too. It's like, you not only, being a parent, God, hats off, because it's like, you not only have to figure out what's best for your child, but you also have to be able to give them that.
Yeah.
It's super difficult.
So, okay. It is January 6th, 1994, and Nancy Kerrigan in this beautiful white Vera ring, because her skating costumes were all Vera wing.
Of course, because she had all the endorsements.
Yeah.
Vera wanted to make her costumes.
Yeah. So she's skating, practicing. That's her thing. She just gets off the ice, and somebody in a black leather jacket takes out a baton and whacks her right in her fucking landing leg. And then, of course, the video that we all saw because it played everywhere. Yes. And I'm like, if I was Nancy Kerrigan, that's the thing I'd be the most pissed about. Because do you know how many people made jokes out of that? Somebody just fucking attacked a woman And then people made that into a fucking joke.
Hi, the 90s.
It was like a meme before memes.
Yeah.
No, that was the fucking 90s. All of these women, like Nancy Kerrigan, Tonya Harding, fucking Monica Lewinsky, like all these women in the 90s, like they took your trauma
and
then
they
they
made
put
it a joke
across all of late night TV
Yes.
for the next fucking 6 months.
It made me sick. I didn't realize that as a kid, but watching it back, I remember back to, and I'm like, we all laughed at that.
Right.
We all fucking laughed at a woman getting assaulted. It's fucking
And
nuts.
basically ruining her career.
And that's how I feel about Monica Lewinsky now.
Mm-hmm.
When I look back on that, I'm like, I cannot believe that this woman was,
She was
like
like a butt of a joke.
22.
Mm-hmm.
Can you fucking imagine
Wow.
her life?
And we all just
I would
went
crumble.
in. We all just went in on her, and now she does like TED Talks on bullying and like and cyberbullying
incredible.
and what that all means, because it was just like we were fucking heartless. We were all like ruthless, man.
Yeah. So anyways, like the attack on her happens. She immediately like cries out. Everyone like gets it on camera and tries to find out. Meanwhile, this fucking guy is getting chased. He fucking headbutts his way through a plate glass
Idiot.
window.
Fucking moron.
This guy's a fucking moron.
Such a brick,
Such
man.
a brick. And gets in the getaway car and like escapes. Well, the problem when you have a bunch of motherfucking buffoons planning this whole big thing.
It's like a Looney Tunes.
It
like,
really is.
really is.
situation
Like
here.
Acme wasn't involved. I don't know
I know.
how.
There wasn't
Anvil.
an anvil. There wasn't a quicksand like circle spot.
No Bermuda Triangle scenario.
What's happening?
Sean Eckert told literally every single person in Portland, Oregon, that he was behind the attacks. He could not help bragging about it.
What
He told
is
his
wrong?
father. His father tells people. Everybody's fucking talking about it. Everybody knows. So it's literally 2 fucking days later.
Have you never watched an episode of Forensic Files in your life?
Never. Like, keep your mouth shut. Like, if you do anything.
Rule number 1.
Literally, the only thing he had to do was keep his mouth shut.
Yeah,
That's it.
literally. They would have found the guys eventually.
No, because
I mean,
they were all
had 'em-
fucking
They
idiots.
had them on camera. The best part is like backing in and out of the space because they like tailed fucking Nancy Kerrigan.
It's like
forever.
me trying to parallel park. I'm like, you like hope nobody's watching. You're trying to fucking like parallel park, and then you're sweating because somebody's like walking their
Behind
dog
you.
and watching you try and fucking like weasel your way into a spot.
And we
Yeah.
are judging you.
Oh, of course. I judge people, and I know that I do that shit. But when people are doing it to me, I'm sweating through my t-shirt.
Oh, totally.
Yeah. So 2 days later, like FBI is like, hey, so what's up? He folds immediately. He fucking breaks down and tells everything. So also during this time, the newspaper in like Portland, Oregon gets an anonymous letter saying like, hey, fucking Tonya Harding was in on this. Jeff Gillooly, Sean Eckert, like all these people. This was the plan, that sort of thing. They had meetings here. Fucking Tanya's like, I don't know what you're talking about. Like, whatever.
I don't know her.
I don't know her.
Just straight Mariah Carey, the whole situation. I don't know them.
So yeah. Meanwhile, like, because she was able to compete without competition, Tonya actually won that 94 like championship and guaranteed herself a spot in the Olympics. Kerrigan did not compete because she couldn't. And honestly, she got so lucky because where the baton hit, if it had gone like an inch higher, it would have calcified her fucking muscle. If it had gone an inch lower, it would have completely decimated her kneecap and she would never walk again. It literally hit in just the right spot to like bruise and be hurt, but do no permanent damage.
This is a
wild.
really fucked up thing to say, but that's why you hire a professional. Because these motherfuckers did not know what they were doing clearly.
Clearly. Yeah.
Clearly. And
yeah.
thank God, I'm so happy that Nancy Kerrigan can like dance and walk and skate and do all of those things. But I'm also just like, God, you guys could not be more bumbling if you fucking tried.
Oh, I know. It's literally, that's why galooly means what it means. It means to fuck up or to bungle a situation.
Appropriate.
And it's also, it's like you couldn't have written this better that this motherfucker's name was Galooly. You're like, of course it was.
It's like one of those words that like sounds like what it is, you know, like womp or bang.
Yes.
What are those words called?
Yeah.
There's a word for it. Yeah.
I don't know.
I want to say onomatopoeia, but that's not right.
I want to say plosives, but that's not right either. That's like a consonant sound.
Hey, Chris, what is the word for when a word sounds like what it is? Like,
well, there you go. It's an onomatopoeia.
I was right. Oh, there you go. So yeah, the galooly is exactly what it sounds like.
Such a galooly, am I right?
Such a galooly, am I right? So, here's the thing. Michelle Kwan was supposed to go to those Olympics, which I was like, holy shit, I didn't know that. And she was actually really gracious about it. And they decided, in quotes, the execs decided to send Kerrigan despite the fact that she didn't compete. Because they asked her, can you skate? And she's like, yeah. And the doctors were like, yeah, nothing permanent is damaged. And CBS is like, oh, yeah, she can skate. Because the fucking rumors were
like,
out
we
there.
Want the fucking scoop.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
This was, I think, the first year that they had the Olympics. They spent so much money on it, and just the amount of ratings alone that this attack carried. And then once the rumors started that Tonya Harding had something to do with it, you don't think there were a bunch of old white men in the CBS building with giant boners for those ratings?
They had it was literally like a cartoon. They had those dollar signs.
Yeah.
They were drooling literally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because the rumors went wild. And we're talking like, this was the 90s. So you had hard copy. You had Inside Edition.
Yes.
You
Inside
had
Edition.
Oh my God, dude.
Yes.
And the amount of press that was surrounding Tonya Harding.
Honestly, it's so gross though. Like, oh God, it's gross.
Hard copy literally was the worst.
Hard copy was the worst.
God,
Inside Edition was pretty bad, but hard copy was like, do you know what makes me think of hard copy now? Those TMZ. Yeah, totally.
The
totally.
TMZ show.
Oh,
seriously.
So gross. Whenever I see them and they're all like lounging and they have the big fucking iced coffee, I'm like, stop it.
A giant straw. It's like 2 times longer than it needs to be. You're like, what's happening here?
So, oh my God, I'm just getting off on so many tangents. But anyway, so
the 90s evokes visceral memories in all of us, I think.
Many.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the Olympics come and Tonya just barely makes it because they try to tell her, like, it's pretty much out now that she at least knew about the attack after it happened, like knew what went down and didn't tell the fucking police or anything. So that's a crime. And she's at least guilty of that, for sure, because she's admitted that.
I agree, yeah. Like, but it's like knowing what you know now about domestic violence and stuff like that. It's like, that's not surprising at all that she wouldn't have said anything.
Yeah. If you fear for your life, yeah, of course.
Or you just have this, she's been with this guy since she was 15. You have this weird, twisted devotion to this person. You don't want to see something bad happen to them.
Right.
Even if you know it's wrong. You know, and that's not an excuse. I'm not trying to make excuses. I'm just saying, like, I know me, if I was in the same situation, after the fact, I probably would have done the same thing. If I had no knowledge of it before and then they told me after, you're scared, you're fucking young, you're in your early 20s, you've got
right
so much
the
shit
Olympics
on the line.
Yeah, exactly. This is her whole fucking life on the line. Jesus. Jeff gets in trouble and he loses his job at the liquor warehouse.
Nobody gives a fuck. Who gives a shit? Yeah.
But she gets in trouble and she loses literally her fucking life.
Her whole family
her whole fucking
is relying on her. Like, and again, I'm not trying to say any of this is an excuse because, like, Nancy Kerrigan's the victim and, like,
absolutely
fucking awful. And I feel so terrible for her. But I'm just saying, like, I just try not to judge too hard because I'm like, God, I probably would have made the same stupid mistake.
Right. So they end up, like, Kerrigan fucking makes it to the Olympics and she can skate.
And everyone's like, yeah.
And yeah, this whole thing becomes
hero
like
of the day.
Hero of the day.
Underdog.
And some of those photos are so beautiful, like juxtaposition between Nancy Kerrigan and her beautiful Vera Wang and, you know, Tonya Harding, a little rougher around the edges and like
in her own
looking really. Yeah, exactly. So they end up performing for the Olympics, and Tonya just cannot get out of her head because she's been hounded. She's been hounded now for like weeks by the press, non-fucking stop. It's got to be stressful. Like,
well,
with
and
the
she's
whole
clearly one of those performers like myself. Like I just said, like she's clearly one of those performers who like can't perform when they're in their head. Some people can, and they can like push themselves out of it. I can't.
Yeah,
I can't.
Yeah.
So and you can tell that she suffers through it.
Yeah.
You can see it.
Yeah, it's so clear. She's not good at hiding her emotions whatsoever.
So you have the short performance and then the long performance. So the short performance, Tonya just has a terrible showing. Kerrigan has a great one, and then the long performance comes. And basically, like, Tonya needs to have the best skate of her life to even place. And even that has to mean that other people don't do as well. So it's kind of like a lost cause at this point. She comes out and, well, first they call her name.
And she doesn't show, right? I remember watching this. Yeah.
And so then, and by the way, this is still the most watched sports event in history. Beyond any Super Bowl, beyond anything, this event is still one of the most watched television events in history. Fucking figure skating.
Well, because
but everyone watched it. We all watched it.
When have you had another thing like this happen? It's like you've got one person who almost definitely was involved at least a little bit in another person's like bludgeoning, and then that person manages to make it to the event with the other person. Like, when has that ever fucking happened again?
Yeah.
Or since?
And this brought out like so much of like class struggles too. Like in America, you have working class Tonya Harding against upper class Nancy Kerrigan,
even
which
though
is a
she
false
wasn't
narrative.
right, but
that is what was pushed.
Well,
where
it struck a chord with people because
poor little rich girl.
But it is frustrating, you know, because she wasn't necessarily a rich girl, but it's frustrating to see someone who is less talented get all the advantages. And it does strike a chord with all kinds of people because you're just like, you see that every day where you're like, I'm more talented. I'm more smart. I'm like all of these things. And like, what?
You said more smart.
Yeah, because you don't say smarter. Do you?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Smarter seems wrong.
Well, I loved it. It worked in this. But yeah, it is. It's frustrating. And so everybody watched it. Everybody fucking watched it. And so Tonya finally comes out on the ice. And that is another meme. I'm like, both of these women, this like incredible moment in their lives, this both for maybe the wrong reason and the right reason or whatever, it just became the laughing stock for something that's incredibly traumatic. Tonya just gets out on the ice and just starts crying. She tries to do a jump, half-ass does it, and then skates over to the judges' table, and then you have that famous picture with her just hiking her fucking shoe up to the judges and showing them her skate, and her lace is broken. So they allow her to like, again, this is another equipment failure kind of thing. She ends up like getting another skate or whatever, skating later. It's not very good. Then Kerrigan comes out in that fucking gorgeous Swarovski crystal.
That's right.
Outfit, looking like $1 billion and has like one of the best
skates of her life.
Skates ever. People are on their feet. Yeah. I remember I cried.
Oh, yeah.
I cried.
Of course,
I'm like a little kid. I'm always crying. And the story ends with Oksana Bayul getting the gold medal. And Nancy Kerrigan.
Though. Yeah.
Nancy Kerrigan missed it by a half point. And there are a lot of arguments that when you go back and look at the tapes, Nancy Kerrigan had the much better skate. But a lot of people think the judges were so fed up by the tabloid nature of these two American women that they gave it to somebody else.
I believe it.
and Nancy Kerrigan's face as she's on silver, because that's not the way the story was supposed to end. And CBS was apparently real fucking pissed about it. Story was supposed to end with Kerrigan getting gold. That's how you wrap up a good
CBS
versus
doesn't own
evil.
the Olympics.
Exactly.
Unfortunately, just because you show it in America.
Not then. I bet they do now.
Well, just because you own it in America.
Yeah.
This is worldwide. This isn't like...
Yeah.
This isn't your story, America.
So basically right after the Olympics in March, Tonya Harding pled guilty to... what was it? Guilty of conspiracy to hinder prosecution, which is basically admitting she knew after the fact who did it and she didn't say anything. And that's the only thing she's been convicted of. Sean Eckert and his goons, Shane Stint and Derek Smith, and Jeff Gillooly all went to jail for like a couple of years. They all kind of made deals to inform on each other. So everyone just got like a paltry like couple years in jail or whatever. Now, I'll wrap it up because we're running super, super long. But what I found the most telling and what has now informed my opinion about who may or may not have known ahead of time is in 2003 or 2013. I can't remember. Somebody found Jeff Gillooly, who's now Jeff Stone. Deadspin did and found him and did an interview. Where are they now?
Why did he change his last name?
Because he's a Gillooly.
I mean, come on. I would too.
They found him and wanted to see like what had happened like since then. And a quote that he said, you know, we really rode her.
Of course. Yeah, clearly.
And we ruined her career because of what we made her do. And so the phrasing of that really made me think that she probably didn't know the extent of everything. She participated in gathering information. She may have... I think that she was coerced either by force or either by just not really fucking paying attention because she had bigger fish to fry. She's busy. She's training for the Olympics. And she's like, why do you want to know where Nancy Kerrigan is or whatever? And maybe she thought he was going to send her some fucking death threats or something like that.
Right.
But
that could mean anything. Honestly, like it doesn't mean that what she's saying isn't. I think, yeah, she probably did know that they were going to fuck with her a little bit.
I think she knew that they were going to fuck with her a little bit.
But that doesn't mean that she knew that they were going to like do that. And probably after it happened, she knew that like they were behind it because of how I'm sure things would have clicked for her as soon as it happened.
Yeah.
But, and then she probably did try and cover her tracks, and not that this is an excuse at all, but I do feel like it's fucking human nature. It's like, it's this thing that like you have worked for your entire life. That's on the line now. If you were to go forward at that point and say like, my husband did it, my ex-husband did it. Like,
and also I had no idea, but I apparently helped accidentally or whatever.
Yeah. And it's scary then. And it's not to say it's right. It's not right.
And who believes you?
And who believes you? Exactly.
Right.
It's so
sad.
Yeah,
honestly.
And it is sad because and that did bust me up in the movie is because she did get banned for life. Her 94 championship, all of her titles got stripped from her, and she was banned forever from the Figure Skating Association.
But we'll
really
always
sad.
remember that she landed that triple.
Yeah, and that's the thing is that you know she's made her living. And I think of all the things that she's done since then, like the celebrity boxing, the Dancing with the Stars, and all the random little things. And I'm like,
you've got to make your money somehow.
You got to.
I don't fault fucking anyone for that. Anybody, I feel like you're kind of a piece of shit if you want to point to that and be like, because this was all like, think about this, like from the time she was 4 years old, this is all you were bred to do.
And not only that,
this
it's something
thing.
she absolutely loved to do.
She loved it,
and
but
was
also
made
like
to do it.
everything else. I think about
You're not
this.
trained for anything else.
You're not trained for anything else.
Yeah.
It's the same thing. I think whenever I watched a documentary about like what happens to college basketball players, and it's the same fucking thing. It's like they push them through college, making them take these courses that don't mean anything, so they don't have any fucking degree when they get out, and only 2% of them go on to be professional basketball players.
Right.
Then
Same
what
with football.
do they do?
Yeah.
They weren't created to do anything else. They have no education,
and you've put them
in anything
this hole.
else. And so like with Tonya Harding, I'm like, fucking get that money however you can, because
But that's such a hard life, in that I think like mentally she made her career out of being the butt of the joke.
Of course.
And basically since then she's had to live with being a caricature of herself.
Yeah, I'd say watch her
And-
on Dancing with the Stars, because it was nice to get to watch her like talk about that and like how fucking hard it was. And she was actually pretty good,
Yeah.
and so it was like, but
Just, I guess the thing that it made me think of is just in every story right now, look at the storyteller. What's their agenda? What's
right.
their narrative? And it sucks, but we don't have like a Walter Cronkite these days. We have so many different people telling us stories. Just, I would say, before you form an opinion on anything, be it politics or be it Tonya Harding or anything, nowadays I
Consider
feel
the
like you
source.
have to look at the storyteller. Why are they telling you that story? What's their fucking motivation for it? What are they trying to get you to feel? And
well,
so,
and honestly, that's everything. I
Yeah.
mean, I would even consider Walter Cronkite. Like, it's everything. It's like everyone has an agenda. Everybody has a worldview. Everybody's trying to make money. Like, and nowadays it's even worse because everybody needs to get their shit clicked on, or they don't get paid.
Yeah.
Like, and that's the way that it is now. And so you have to take in information.
Sensation sells.
You have to take in information from a million different sources in order to draw your own conclusions on anything. That's
Yeah.
how it is now. It's
also,
how it always was.
the golden rule still applies. Do unto others. So
Don't be a piece of shit.
don't be a piece of shit. And there you go.
The moral of that story is
Yeah. Tonya Harding. There you go, guys.
Very good.
so
Yeah.
good.
What are we watching this week?
Well, I've been watching Falling for a Killer.
Oh,
that?
I
Where's
started
that?
that.
Wait,
That's
what?
it's on
It's
Prime.
on Amazon Prime. It's
The Ted Bundy.
Oh, the Ted Bundy. Yes, yes,
yeah,
yes.
yeah. But
That's
it's
true
but
crime done right, because
it's-
it's told through the fucking lens
Of
of
the
the,
victims,
women,
yeah.
and it's victim,
and it's different
driven.
than
It's-
any like.
it's amazing.
I have watched every true crime thing you can possibly fucking think
Right.
of. I have seen everything from every angle. I have seen every Ted Bundy thing from every fucking angle. I have never seen it like
Ooh,
this.
so it's really good.
I have never seen it like
It's
this because they've
incredible.
never done it like this. They put it in the framework not only of the victims and the women and his girlfriend and his girlfriend's daughter who loved him very much and like
Yeah.
spent a lot of time with him, but also the survivors and also the families of the women who were murdered. And also they put it within this time frame and this framework of the like women's liberation movement and everything that was going on at that time. And they
Wow.
frame it as to like why these women were particularly vulnerable because they were straddling a line between a time when they were still supposed to be like acquiesce to everything that was going on around them and being very polite and accommodating, but they were also straddling this line of independence and being on their own. And so it made them incredibly vulnerable for someone like this because he came up and asked for help and they felt like they still needed to help, but they were on their own because they felt like they had the freedom to do that.
Yeah.
And so it's really, really good. I'm almost done with it. I think I have one more episode to go.
I've not watched that.
Yeah.
It's really good.
It's very, very good. I've seen mixed reviews for some reason, but I actually think, and watching the girlfriend Liz, like who's now
She looks broken, and it's heartbreaking.
it's hard,
heartbreaking.
and she's also had like because I've seen people say like, oh, she seems like she doesn't have enough emotions or whatever, and I'm like, one, this is probably something incredibly traumatic that I don't know that I think it took
How
a
do you get
lot
past that?
for her
That's a lot.
to be involved
You
in the
lived with
first
a
place.
serial killer.
Somebody that literally brutally murdered like over 30 women.
While you were together.
While you were together.
While you were together.
While you let him teach and hold your daughter.
Right.
Like,
and the daughter is interviewed too, and she loved him, and she's having a hard time too, because she's like, even when the trial was happening, she was watching the trial at like 13 and was like, it was hard because I knew he did these things, but I loved him. Like, because he was like my dad, you know.
How do you come to terms with that?
And also, like, she's had, like, the girlfriend has had a few strokes too. Like, and so there's so much going on with her that I'm just like, but yeah, I would recommend watching that for sure.
It's really good.
It's been really, yeah, I've got one more episode to go, but it's great.
Yeah, I watched the Cameron Crowe documentary on David Crosby. Definitely recommend it.
I gotta see that.
It's really
right in my wheelhouse.
Yeah, it's really good. I mean, I grew up listening to Crosby, Stills, Nash and Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young, as well as the Byrds. So, you know, getting that behind the scenes on the music is one thing, but also seeing somebody that is coming to terms with the decisions that they've made in their life and being really open and honest about their mistakes is nice to watch too. So like somebody that's doing their best to make amends, you know, it's
coming out the other side.
I like Cameron Crowe too.
Oh,
so
yeah, definitely. Oh, good. Well, I'm glad you guys are ending on me because I have the light one. I've been watching Love is Blind.
Oh my God.
Oh, shit, dude.
Oh my God. We've been hearing about this so much on the Facebook. Like,
look,
draw me into this.
Okay.
What is this?
First of all, I was like, I did not expect to get like, and to be fair, I was watching it in a plane.
I'm gonna
and
get
you're
sucked
way more
in
emotional.
immediately.
Like when you fly, I'm just going to say that.
Well, you're also way more accepting to, like, way more able to accept, like, subpar media when you're flying. That's just true.
It is true. And look, look, I'm not even to where they're literally like their first day outside of the whole.
Oh, is this the one where
experiment.
they can't see each other?
Yes, they talk to each other like through the room or whatever.
But there's a couple of the couples that I'm like,
you're rooting for him?
Really like invested in your love story for some fucking reason.
And God, I kind of want to check it out.
It's really good. I don't want to say that it's really good, but I may or may not have. It was very dusty on my flight.
Yeah.
So I mean, it was just the water that was coming out of my eyes was more because of the accumulation of dust on the plane.
Yeah, the acceleration of the flight. Yeah. Sometimes that happens to me on roller coasters. I know.
Yeah.
I know what you mean.
You know, they just got to get their shit together, you know, do better.
Yeah.
Were you on a Spirit Airlines?
Southwest, am I right?
Well, hey, if you got stuff that we should watch, if you got crazy in love suggestions, if you just want to reach out, go to our one-stop shop of a website. It's myworstatepodcast.com. I want to thank everybody again for all the notes and support and stuff that I got this week. It was really, really touching. And this community that we've been able to build through the podcast, I think, is one of the things that I'm the most proud of. You guys are amazing. Keep on keeping on, and we'll see you next time. We love you. Cheers.
This is a Glass Box Media Podcast.